Hi, I'm Paul, and welcome to the All About Neurofeedback podcast. It's where we showcase top neurofeedback practitioners, so put on your headphones, tune in your brainwaves, and get ready to learn all about neurofeedback. Hello, this is Paul with All About Neurofeedback. All About Neurofeedback is designed to be a public resource so that you're able to look and find out more about neurofeedback, get your questions answered, meet some other practitioners, and really just become immersed in this, because when you look at your mental health and the challenges people face today, neurofeedback is one of the best options out there in order to help you get past that. What we do at All About Neurofeedback is two things. We do that, and we also help neurofeedback providers grow their business with different marketing things that we do. And we're getting very focused on AI systems as well. If you'd like to find out more about that, just go to All About Neurofeedback and you can find us there. So today's guest left behind a high-pressure executive career after discovering the benefits of NeuroOptimal neurofeedback firsthand. What began as personal transformation led her to become an advanced certified trainer and one of just 40 NeuroOptimal representatives worldwide, which is pretty impressive. She's the founder of two neurofeedback practices, including Core Neuro, which brings neurofeedback into the workplace, and her mission extends deep into the community, partnering with organizations like Zero Ground, the Second Wind Fund, and First Responder Neurofeedback to provide accessible mental health support. And she's also a board member and treasurer at Spark the Change Colorado, and a trained coach through the Human Potential Institute, working to bring mental wellness to both nonprofits and corporate spaces. Please welcome to the show, Jennifer Tierney. Thank you for being here. And I just wanted to maybe start out, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, what brought you to neurofeedback in the first place?
Yeah, sure. So as you mentioned, I come from the corporate environment. I was C-suite for a long time, running operations for big companies. And in 2018, I had been diagnosed myself with PTSD. And so as part of my overall plan with my therapist, who offered NeuroOptimal at the time, was to start doing neurofeedback sessions. I didn't know anything about it. I just felt like whatever you need to do, whatever I need to do, just tell me, and I'm like, want to feel better. So that's how I got involved. Was I first started doing sessions myself, and then as I started feeling better and things like my brain fog lifted, which honestly I didn't even think I had, because I come from a corporate world. What's the thing? You climb the ladder, you work, you don't sleep, like that's like your badge of honor in a way. And so I didn't even really realize that my brain was not thinking clearly outside of the PTSD. And one day I was just driving down the road, and I had been telling all my friends, everyone I know, go do this. I don't know what it's doing, but it really helped me. And I thought, why am I not doing this business? Like, is this something that I can do? I had taken time off corporate and was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And so I went and looked it up, and I realized I could become certified and start a business. And that wasn't the scary part for me, because I'd been running businesses forever. It was more getting involved in this, mental health community and learning about neurofeedback, and sort of having a lot of imposter syndrome when it came to that, because, I thought you needed to have all these other types of backgrounds to get involved, or to basically start your education over. And with our system, that's not something that you had to do. So I just kind of jumped in 2 feet. And it was about 9 months before COVID happened. So that wasn't great timing. But what came out of that was the discussion of mental health. I did have clients who I was doing door drops for and different things like that, because at the time I didn't have a rental fleet. And so we were just trying to figure out how to make it work with everyone and get them their sessions. And then halfway through that year, I just started getting a lot of requests for systems to have at home and rental. And since NeuroOptimal allows that, or the FDA allows NeuroOptimal to do that, I bought 6 or 7 systems that remaining year. And ever since then, it's just been go, go, go. I've always been involved in the community and charities and things like that. And so I knew I wanted to get involved, with all of that as well, and be able to start like offering these sessions and stuff to people who definitely may not ever have the ability, to do something like this. And so I've served on a few boards. I have donated sessions to, community groups that are for kiddos that need help. And now I'm the executive director also of First Responder Neurofeedback. So that's sort of where we've landed, which is working with grants and foundations and donations and all that to provide free services to our first responders. Because as we know, especially lately, every everybody's losing money. All the services are being cut back. So it's more important than ever. But that's kind of how I got involved in all of this.
And you're in Parker, Colorado, right?
Yeah, I'm in Parker, Colorado. I have a local practice here. That's Parker Neurofeedback. It's sort of my flagship, I'll call it. Once I started doing more with NeuroOptimal directly and selling systems, and I'm a facilitator also for certifying people, I realized that my reach could be far beyond, just in Colorado. And also my history with working with big companies is I knew how I could discuss with them and how to get neurofeedback integrated as a wellness tool, and also adding them to other types of practices, right? Like it doesn't have to just be a therapy practice. It could be, chiropractic, IV, wellness, anything like that. And so I kind of took my business background and expanded to do core neuro, which is now my national practice.
So you're a facilitator and training other trainers, basically. So that's quite the thing. So you said there's about 40 of you throughout the world?
Right now, there's about I'd say probably between 40 and 50. Since I last checked, I know that NeuroOptimal's added more reps worldwide and even in the US. My guess is probably 50 worldwide now are to sell systems. But from a facilitator standpoint, yeah, there's not a lot of us who are doing live in-person certifications, maybe like 20 to 30, and again, worldwide. So they have people everywhere. I know in like Spain and France, they do a lot of certifications. It's a different model than how US and Canada is set up. People there tend to get certified first and then, go into neurofeedback, where with us, a lot of times somebody's bought a system and now they want to get certified, or it's to integrate into one of their, therapy practices or something else like that.
Right. What you just said about integrating with a therapy practice. So what is the benefit to a client to getting therapy as well as neurofeedback? Or does it kind of take over the practice, or one better than the other? What's your opinion on that?
No, in my experience with the therapists I've worked with to help them bring systems in, and even just in my own personal experience with my therapist having a NeuroOptimal system, was that, really NeuroOptimal is helping break up those patterns, right? And or neurofeedback in general, and you're, learning to do new things, and it's calming that nervous system. And so for me, and I know a lot of therapists I talk to have the same thought process with their clients, is it really allows these other modalities to work, right? So your brain is blocked. We want to, do well. We're in therapy, but we might need a little bit of help. And that's where something like neurofeedback or NeuroOptimal can come in and help. Same with other types of, stuff that people are doing, whether it's physical, mental, performance-based, like anything. It's just kind of helping get your mind into a space where those other tools can be more effective.
Yeah, like the brain is really that regulation system for your entire body and your whole entire life, really. And when that's performing, everything else performs much better.
Right.
And I think people, forget about that. And then they turn to things like these, iPhone apps and that kind of stuff. And that's not neurofeedback, right?
No, there's a lot of tools out there that call themselves neurofeedback that aren't. And it's especially happening a lot lately because neurofeedback has become so much more well known, whether it's through professional athletes or just the evolution of the wellness industry, where, therapists or NPs or other people know that these tools are out there and they're suggesting it for their clients. So it's just become, way more accessible to people, especially something like NeuroOptimal, where we're, not using QEEGs and brain maps and things like that are, costly to people. People don't understand that there's probably only 4 or 5 main systems that are going to impact the neuroplasticity, right? Doesn't mean that, meditation systems, sound baths, things like that, they help you. It's doing something different. It's more syncing with it and calming than it is breaking up patterns. So it's really just trying to explain to people the difference.
Right. So would you say that if somebody is doing neurofeedback, NeuroOptimal specifically, and therapy, does that collapse timeframes a lot?
I would say in my experience, that's been the case. I mean, everyone's going to have a different situation and a different experience. I think sometimes it depends on what people are dealing with as their condition. If it's something that can somewhat be easily, supported by neurofeedback versus is it something that you're going to be living with always? And is it more of a tool that helps you with your daily life, similar to working out? But yes, in my experience, it did help. And in most of my clients that are doing both some type of therapeutic model and neurooptimal, it helps them. Of course, clients can come do neurooptimal or neurofeedback of any kind and also get help without, wanting to go to therapy because some people don't want that. Some people don't want a diagnosis in their file or otherwise. So there's different reasons to do it different ways.
Right, for sure. Okay, that's interesting. So, being as how with NeuroOptimal, you're not doing brain maps, how does NeuroOptimal work and get the same kind of results as traditional neurofeedback does?
Yeah, so the way that NeuroOptimal is working is that it's picking up the live activity of the brain. And so when you're doing a session, it's happening with whatever's going on with your mind at that time. Because every day we're going to be doing something different. And NeuroOptimal will say, it's the first and the last type of session every time because, your brain's going to be making changes as you go through sessions. And while that's true with linear, it's meeting it at the moment that it's in it instead of having somebody, map it and say, this is the protocol I think you should be at. These are the Hertz levels I think you're going to function best at. With our system, you're going to allow the brain to do it itself, right? And so we're not going to be pushing or pulling the brain into any particular area or Hertz level. And we've just had tremendous success with that because there's not, basically any side effects. It's allowing the brain to take the path it wants. We're not placing, individual opinions or ranges on someone. And that's not to say linear does not help. It does. And we've all kind of come from the same model, so to speak, from the beginning. It's just that this is a different model. You don't have to have a diagnosis. It's open to everyone. It's safe for all ages. And that's really sort of the difference is it's really telling your brain like, hey, let's pay attention to what's going on. Is this something that you want to be doing?
Though if somebody rents a system, how hard is it for them to use it?
It's not difficult at all. At least in my practice, the way that I do it, particularly if it's local, is I'll bring a system to them. I'll come to their home. And, sometimes people want to meet in the office and we'll do it that way too. I find that they tend to forget once they leave, but that's a personal choice. But I'll go to people's homes. I set it up for them, show them. We have videos because they're having to just put the sensors on and needing to start music and or movies. If they want to watch movies or they have kiddos or whatnot, we have movies on the system that can be converted through the system. And it takes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, depending on how many questions. Myself and my team always act as a resource to them so they can text us or call us, whenever they need. And then, like I said, we have videos and stuff. So the goal of NeuroOptimal is to be able to have it in people's homes and be able to do it in this model, which is partly why we needed to move away from a traditional linear model where you need to have the mapping and protocol and all of
Right.
that so that this could be an option for people to have more
Okay.
access to it.
And I would assume with, doing rentals, that means that it's can be used kind of unlimited or even with other members of the family, for instance. Just totally reduces the cost, right?
It does. It makes it more accessible to everyone. I think some people do different models with me. We do unlimited sessions for the month for the entire family. So if you have it, anyone in the family can use it. It's safe and effective. So you can do it as many, like if you want to do it every day, you can do our system every day or every other day is kind of what you feel like you want to be doing. Because again, we're not dictating protocols. So each person will have their own experience. And of course, I'm there to help guide with all of that when they have questions. But yeah, it's just more cost effective. It's time effective. People have so many things going on these days between work, sports, travel, whatever else is out there, that to come to the office all the time, I find is hard for people.
Right, right. Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. And that sounds like a great way to do it for, typical family.
And I think the best thing about it is that, not only with me, with some of my peers that I work with, or anyone wanting to do NeuroOptimal, at least that's the tool I can speak about, is that it is really easy to do. It's effective. It helps with so many different things because our brain is like the indicator, right? Our central nervous system is what's running us. So even when people think about physical stuff like we were talking about, it can help, and Also, I'd like people to know, like, again, you don't have to have something wrong with you even, or, quote unquote wrong with you. You can want to use it to perform better at work or sports. It's just something I know more and more people are open to, and I think it's great. And I want more and more people to be open to it and just sort of make this an everyday thing, just like working out, because we need both.
Okay, that's awesome. So where could people find you, Jennifer?
So you can find me at neurofeedback-parker.com or coreneuro.com. Those are both my websites. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram. We have it all. But yeah, I mean, I have clients all over. So don't worry if you're not in Parker. I can ship you a system or help you get it into your business. Or if you want to start a new wellness business, I have a lot of clients who have decided to leave, sort of what I did, what they were doing before, or do it as, just a part-time thing and, really get into something different.
Right. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. Thanks for listening. Want to learn more about neurofeedback? Go to allaboutneurofeedback.com, where you'll find a ton of free resources to learn from, or you can connect with a local practitioner today. If you are a neurofeedback practitioner looking to grow your business, click the link in the description to learn more about our special offers or to get showcased on this podcast. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.